Om Sai Ram, Sai Leela episode 24. The first Leela is of Sri Neelakant Ramchandra Sahasrabuddhe. He has shared his experience with Saibaba in a letter. In the last 35 to 36 years, there has not been a single week when I have slept without having a dream. But in Shirdi, only because of Sai Baba, I had slept peacefully for so many months without any dream in the night. I have been more healthier at Shirdi than other places, but I always used to get dreams, which did not happen when I was in Shirdi. This was only due to Sai's grace. Once in the afternoon, after Aarti, Sai was distributing sweets which a devotee had bought. I wondered whether I would get it or not. Immediately, with a mischievous smile, Sai waved his hand and said, "You won't get anything," and then later gave me the prasad. Once, when I went to the mosque, Baba addressed me as "Come Ramaya." After some days, when I went to fall on his feet, he gave me Udi and kept his hand on my head and said, "Take Ram's name," because he knew I believe in the phrase that everything happens due to Sri Ram. When I went to Baba for the first time, he asked me ₹12 as charity. After some days, he asked me ₹8. Later on, Mr. Ramchandra Vaman sent a money order for ₹5 to Tatya Sahib, which was given to me to give it to Baba. When I gave the money to Baba, he gave it back to me and said, "You keep this money with you. You will need the money for your expenses. I have the required money with me. I will not need this." He insisted that I keep it with me. I had to keep it with me. Later, when I got the permission to leave Shirdi, I was to go to Pune or Mumbai, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, I had to go to Jalgaon, and I was falling short of exactly ₹5, which Baba had already known about, and he gave me the same. I kept the same in a closed envelope with a friend of mine and took ₹5 from the same person and went to Jalgaon. Later on, I returned the ₹5 I had taken from my friend and took the sealed envelope from him. The last time I went to see Baba in Shirdi, he said, "Good, you have come. I was waiting for you." I had never heard anything like this before. At that time, I didn't realize that it was my last meeting with Baba. When I got permission to leave, and I would ask Babu Saab if I can leave in the evening, because we thought the train leaves in the evening from Kopargaon. Baba would ask him to go in the morning. Then one fine day, I decided to go in the evening and left for Kopargaon. That is when I got to know the train time has changed to morning, and I had to wait in the station till the next day morning. I then realized that the reason Baba was telling me to leave in the morning. Once my friend Ganpatrao Ajnokar had come to Shirdi with some of his friends. He had to go to Thane court regarding a case, and he had to meet the lawyers on Sunday. So he asked for permission to leave. Baba said that there was no necessity to leave so soon, but he didn't listen to Baba and was adamant on leaving. Then Baba said, "Okay, leave as per your wish." Ganpat Rao had reached the court at the set time, but there was no hearing that day, and the date was extended by a week, and then realized his mistake of not listening to Baba. Experiences of Tadgad family. Control over the rain god. In the Satcharitra, there is an incident when there was an unprecedented rainfall in Shirdi. My father also was present over there. He was one of those lucky ones who had seen the battle between two superpowers. He used to always say that Sai Baba had acquired the Astasiddhis, the 8 superhuman powers, and he used to practice them whenever he was called upon to overcome the crisis faced by his devotees. Of course, the nature's superpower would respect him and respond favorably to his SOS call because Saibaba himself was the incarnation of God on this planet. Those were the rainy days, and since afternoon it was raining. As the evening approached, the rains were getting heavier. Dark clouds gathered in the sky. Gustly winds were blowing. There were clear signs of thunderstorm approaching. The skies were getting lit with flashes of lightning, followed by sounds of thunder. The storm was very active and entire Shirdi village was getting lashed with severe rains. Water was getting accumulated everywhere, and the villagers along with the cattle started gathering in the Dwarkamai as they had come across such severe downpour and thunderstorms. My father could not be an exception. He also came to Dwarkamai. He was reminded the incident in the Bhagavad Gita when Lord Krishna had to lift the entire Govardhan mountain and give shelter to all living beings and offer them reprieve from the unprecedented fury of the nature. That was the day in Shirdi when the natives needed someone like Govardhanagiri who could only rescue them from the grave situation. Of course, all were worried and waiting for Baba's blessing to fall upon them. There was no sign of storm clearing, and soon Baba's patience was over. He got up from his seat, picked up his satka in his hand, and came down to the gate of Dwarkamai. He stood there in the open. A severe lightning flashed the sky, and Baba hit the ground with the satka and roared loudly, saying, "Please go away from here." The intensity of that roar was so high it decibeled that entire place started trembling as though a tremor had hit Shirdi. Once again, a severe stroke of lightning, and Baba hit the ground with a satka, asking the rain god to move away from Shirdi. This happened thrice. It was clear battle between the two giants, and the storm was coming to terms with Baba. Requests of reprieve. The lightning stopped, the rains receded, the winds slowed down. In and about an hour's time, everything was peaceful once again. The spikes were clear, and Baba asked everyone to return to their homes. My father restored to his evening duties, lighting the petromax lamps. He was itching for the right moment so that he could ask Baba about the battle. Then came a moment. He asked Baba whether he is also in a position to rule over the nature. Baba replied saying, "Bao, whenever my devotees are in dire distress, I pray to the Lord of the universe to shower His mercy upon them. The Lord comes to my rescue, extends His help to me." Of course, my father could not get the sight when Baba was standing in middle of the rain and was roaring back to the rain gods to move away from Shirdi, who was looking like a lord himself in a hostile mode. Baba's command over fire power. Once Dhuni, the sacred fireplace started by Baba in Dwarkamai, was burning fiercely. Baba had already predicted the day of his departure from this world. Hence, I think it must be the day of Vijayadashmi, popularly known as Dashera. It was evening time. Baba had stationed himself at his usual sitting place opposite to the Dhuni in Dwarkamai. My father was also present there. Every evening he would come to Dwarkamai, sit there and observe the interesting happenings, if any, and proceed with his duty of lighting the petromax lamps. That day, Baba suddenly got up, went near the Dhuni, moved some wooden pieces and started murmuring something while placing up and down in Dwarkamai. This was very unusual, and my father felt that something strange is likely to happen. Here I must state that even in those days there were many devotees of Baba who were anxious to know the religion of Baba by his birth, whether he was a Hindu or a Muslim. In any case, he was in human form, so he must have taken birth from a human body. in which case whether his parents were Hindus or Muslim was the question. Of course, my father cannot be an exception to the rule. Baba was slowly turning into an angry mood. He started abusing people who had assembled over there. Here, the fire in the dhoni also was raging higher and higher in the same proportion of Baba's angry mood. Entire Dwarka Mai was lit up with the light from the fire hood, but now Baba was charged with rage. He removed the cotton cloth tied to his head and threw it in the dhoni. Suddenly, the fire flames rose higher. Baba's long hairs became free. After a little while, Baba removed his kafni and threw it in the same dhoni. The fire flames rose still higher, so much so that the people feared that the Dwarka Mai would catch fire. Baba's anger was reaching its zenith. He stood in front of the people in a fiery mood, and in a fraction of a second he removed his langot and threw the same in the raging dhoni. He had thus become Digambar. He stood in front of the people in that form. He then shouted at them, told them to look at his body and decide for themselves and certain whether he was a Hindu or a Muslim. What a way to give proof of oneself. Now I am going to narrate you what my father had seen at that time. My father used to say that Baba had acquired a very fiery posture. His eyeballs had turned red hot like burning coal, and the rays of light were emitting from every pore of his body, and the entire body was hidden behind the glow of a spiritual ball of light. The light rays were so powerful that my father had to close his eyes. Needless to say that he could not make any identity of Baba's religion. All present in Dwarka Mai were stunned. Baba's shouts were continued. The flames of dhoni were reaching very high and throwing enormous amount of light. Outside there was severe lightning and thunder. Then Mr. Bhavuji Shinde, one close devotee of Baba, came forward with great courage, tied a new langot around his waist. Then Baba cooled down to normalcy. He lifted his satka and came close to dhoni. He started hitting the flames with the satka and was saying Ughi. Ughi means calm down, calm down. With each stroke of satka, the flames lowered in height and soon everything became normal. Then people got the courage to make Baba wear his kafni and his hairs were tied with a new piece of cloth. Although it was very late, but the devotees ventured Baba and carried out the evening aarti as usual. Of course, what impressed my father most was the great godly body of Baba, emitting light and his powers of having a command over the fire. Baba had selected this Vijayadashami day with a purpose. He had given indication to his devotees that this will be the day when he will bid bodily goodbye to this world. Later in the year 1918, on Vijayadashami day, Baba took Samadhi. Dear Sai devotees, readers, after knowing this, I think we all should bury anxiety about Baba's religion and simply worship him with the utmost devotion and 100% faith. For Sai means Sakshat Ishwar, who has no religion and is an all-pervading, omnipotent and omnipresent. Om Sai Ram.